Hello fellow cineenthusiasts, my name is Christina and welcome to another Let's Get Reel's movie review. Today is Classic Movie Thursdays, my version of Throwback Thursdays, and in the classic movie universe, it is still Noirvember. So I am participating because I love film noirs, and today's film noir for Classic Movie Thursday and Noirvember is a very, very well-known The Maltese Falcon. The Maltese Falcon starts off with Sam Spade. He's a private detective. He's played by Humphrey Bogart. He is sitting in his office one day and his secretary brings in a woman named Mrs. Wonderly, played by Mary Astor, who is looking for her younger sister. She tells Sam that her sister had run away with a guy named Floyd Thursby, and she just wants to see how her sister is doing and bring her home, blah blah blah, all that usual stuff. And Sam's kind of like, alright, we'll take it. I'll take it for you. He has his partner, Miles Archer, try and tail Thursby to see where he's going. Unfortunately, very early the next morning, Sam gets a call saying that Archer has been killed. And he goes down to the crime scene, and he's very like, alright, well, poor guy, whatever. And he had told the police that he's gonna go tell Archer's wife that her husband's been killed, and he doesn't. He sends his secretary, and then he goes home. Not too much long after he gets back to his apartment, two detectives come to the door, and they start questioning him because Thursby has been killed, and they think Sam did it in retribution for killing his partner. But of course, Sam shoos them out. He said, "You don't have anything on me, go away." And this actually leads Sam to go and further investigate this Mrs. Wonderly, who actually turns out to be a woman named Bridget O'Shaughnessy, and she is mixed up with Thursby. She was afraid of him, all this stuff, but they were both looking for this sculpture called the Maltese Falcon, which is supposed to be this jewel-encrusted falcon from Spanish galley, 1500s, things like that. It was supposed to be considered lost, and they have two other people looking for them. One guy named Joe Cairo, played by Peter Lorre, and another guy, he has a name, but they call him the Fat Man, played by Sidney Greenstreet. And it turns into this whole big mess. Sam gets himself knocked out for a little while, but of course eventually the whole thing is discovered, not necessarily the real Falcon, and figures it out. Typical detective story. The Maltese Falcon was actually one of the first movies I had ever owned, and at the time I wasn't too crazy about it. I think it was because I didn't really understand, I wasn't fully paying attention to the story, and I really wasn't too crazy with Humphrey Bogart. But now, watching it so many years after I had originally watched it, I really like The Maltese Falcon. I think it is an excellent story. Although I'm not a crazy huge fan of Humphrey Bogart, I thought he was great in this. He is what I would think a typical detective would look like, a stereotypical movie story detective. I'm currently reading the book, and even though Dashiell Hammett gives a completely different explanation of what Sam Spade looks like and how he acts, I'm picturing Humphrey Bogart, because that's probably what I would have defaulted to anyway had I not seen the movie before reading the book. I just liked his acting. I thought he wasn't trying to be a tough guy. He was just perfect. Humphrey Bogart was absolutely perfect in this movie. And it's a role that I wouldn't mind watching him over and over again in. Mary Astor is an actress I've seen in a few other films, and I think she's really great. And I actually enjoyed her in this movie because it was interesting to see her as this femme fatale, because she usually played like goody-goody characters, and this time she was the femme fatale. She wasn't a femme fatale like Ava Gardner in The Killers, or some gorgeous woman trying to fall for the detective or the everyman. She was just this, I don't want to say plain, because that's not fair. Mary Astor was very pretty, but compared to the other ones that we're used to knowing, she was very plain, but she was manipulative. And I think with a femme fatale, when I think of them, I think of somebody who's manipulative, a woman who gets what she wants and just knows how to work everybody. And that is exactly what Bridget O'Shaughnessy did, and exactly what Mary Astor did to absolute perfection. She is fantastic. Peter Lorre and Sidney Greenstreet were Warner Brothers' main staple, minor character actors. They were great. You know, they were like the Weasley, oily kind of characters in this story who were using others to get what they wanted, and you know, you can never go wrong with them. They're like the epitome of like minor characters who kind of played the same role over and over again, but they were so good at it that you really kind of like don't mind seeing them that way. This was John Huston's directorial debut, and the guy did such a freaking fantastic job. If I were going for directing, I would be so jealous. I am jealous because I know I could never do that, and even if I was going for directing, I would never be able to do what John Huston pulled off in the Maltese Falcon. It was like he was a seasoned pro. He got angles that were so perfect and just captured all the nuances of the characters, all the nuances of the story. He really left you tense with his direction. He really got the story. And he filmed things from different angles, as I said, that were quite interesting. I really liked how in the scene where the two detectives come to talk to Sam, Humphrey Bogart's sitting on a bed and the two detectives are in front of him, so you're actually looking over Humphrey Bogart's shoulder. And I really liked that. I thought that was quite genius, because normally you'd be focusing on the lead actor and the main character, because they are your main people you want to be focusing on. You know, they'd probably have them like the camera facing this way and at a certain angle to get everybody in there, but more so keeping a focus on the main person. And John Huston got right over Humphrey Bogart's shoulder, and I loved it. I love getting kind of like the view from the character, and he really didn't switch it up, because normally like every few seconds you're supposed to switch back and forth to whoever's talking, and he really didn't do that too much. He stayed right over Humphrey Bogart's shoulder as the detectives were explaining why they were there and what was going on. As I said before, I'm very happy that I rewatched The Maltese Falcon. I haven't seen it in so many years. My perception of the movie has changed. I'm very familiar with the noir genre. I'm very familiar with Humphrey Bogart and all the actors in this movie. I'm familiar with John Huston's style, so I appreciated it more now, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to consider it one of my favorite movies now, and I really hope you all go out and see it and see what the, I hate to say typical film noir, but this is like the model of what film noirs are, and it's such a great movie to study. Everything about it, the acting, the directing, the lighting, the scenery, great thing to study if you're very passionate about films like me. If you're a film major, hey, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. You're probably gonna really enjoy it and pick out some pretty awesome stuff in it. Thank you for watching my review of the Maltese Falcon. If you like this review in any way, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below so we can further discuss this. And also, I run a movie blog. I have a link in the description down below if you'd like to read about more film noirs. Go and check out my blog. I've been blogging about film noir for the past few weeks since it's Noirvember. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button for future Classic Movie Thursdays and other movie reviews. As always, keep watching movies and stay absolutely fabulous.